Welcome to our lesson on instant messaging. We are going to explore some of the guidelines for using messaging in the workplace. Upon completion of this module, students will be able to identify differences between emails and instant messages, identify when to use instant messages in the workplace, identify and implement best practices for instant messaging style, and describe the structure of instant messages. Instant messages and emails have a lot in common, but there are some significant differences too. Both emails and instant messages allow us to send and receive messages immediately. They are almost as efficient as verbal conversation in terms of how quickly a user can deliver a message. However, unlike a verbal conversation, both emails and instant messages create a record. As we'll see, some of the same rules about style and mechanics apply to both of these communication channels. So how do you know when to use instant messaging in the workplace? Well, the most important rule of thumb is instant messages are for conversation. They're not for information. Instant messages tend to be quite short. They involve a back and forth between two or more parties. Because conversations can go on over a long period of time, detailed information can get lost in the conversation history. In contrast, the longer format of emails, along with their organization by subject line, makes them more appropriate for conveying and organizing more detailed information. While instant messages are intended to be short, we still have to be careful about using slang, jargon, and abbreviations. These can come across as unprofessional, whether they appear in emails or in instant messages. It is important to remember that the habits you fall back on for informally texting friends are not appropriate in a workplace context. We should also be careful about how we use emojis. While it might seem like fun to spice up our messages with these funny little images, it is important to consider the situation and your audience. Only use emojis if you know that they'll be understood and well received. Remember also that emojis are the mark of an informal, colloquial message. If you have a formal relationship with the person you are writing to, it is best to avoid using them. Remember, whether you compose your instant messages by typing them or through voice recognition software built into your phone, it's really important to proofread. Because of the speed at which instant messages and emails can be sent, many people feel pressured to just get the message out and move on with other work. But this can be a hazard to your professional health. You only need to do a quick Google search for autocorrect fails to find examples of people accidentally sending messages that would be wildly inappropriate in any workplace context. One of the key differences between workplace emails and instant messages is that unlike emails, instant messages follow a conversational structure. This means that they're actually pretty unstructured, as they follow the stream of consciousness of the discussion. You don't need to worry too much about including an action opening, background, details, and action closing in an instant message. Simply write as though you are speaking to your reader. Politely, of course. You've now reached the end of this lesson. You can return to the online module and test your knowledge about instant messages.